Shalom, brothers. Today I'm going to be giving a synopsis of my Conlang, which is called Agarthan as a placeholder name. The basic premise, it's a root template language, like a Semitic language like Hebrew or Arabic. So to go over root templates, we have three grammatical genders, thesis, synthesis, antithesis, or masculine, juvenile, feminine. So the masculine, uh, you'll see how each of the roots branches out from another root. So you begin with three basic concepts, those split into three, those split into three, so on and so forth. In which within each of the splits, there's a sort of trinity relationship between each of the three roots that permutate from the original root, in which you'll have a masculine, and then its opposite, the feminine, and then the synthesis or the mixture or the in-between the two concepts of the root, which is the juvenile or the synthesis. So masculine would be synthesis o, antithesis a, and then with the underscores denoting where you would plug in the consonants. For each of these roots, he before consonants and a before vowels is the negation suffix, either making the following word negative and or opposite. So then we get to verbs in which there are three persons, uo, ae, oi, a, or first and second person. This is also sort of the generic verb tense because, well, when you're speaking to someone, you could say, got milk, say I got milk, or got milk as a question for someone else. And so it's more so a generic, and because in casual conversation, which is the most common usage of the second person, it doesn't have to be specific. Where it does make more specificity is in the third person, in which LA is the third person, or the verbs in English which end in S. So I eat, you eat, he eats. But then there's also fourth person, and the fourth person would essentially be I eat, first person, you eat, second person, he eats, third person, and then the other guy eats. So imagine you had a sentence that was, he hurts him. This could be interpreted perhaps as he hurts himself would be third person, whereas he hurts him and him is another person. So he hurts the other guy would be the fourth person. Then moving on to adjectives, the language of Agarthan makes distinctions, three distinctions. There are intrinsic properties. So for instance, my hand is made of flesh. My hand being made of flesh is an intrinsic property of a hand. Whereas as an accidental adjective, my hand is red. My hand is red because it's covered in blood, or it's covered in paint. You don't need to be covered in blood or paint, or have your hand covered in anything red for your hand to remain a hand. Then there would be general adjective. This form would only be used if we don't need to specify if a property is intrinsic or accidental to the thing that it modifies. Then moving on, we have abstract concepts. This could be philosophical, it could be a process, like a ION ending. So it's EIO. Then syntax particles. This is a very rare root template. It does not need to be elaborated on. Then numbers. You'll see each of the root consonants has its own numerical value, and we're going to see that later. So then moving on to verb endings. There are four tenses: past, present, future, and general. So past, things with past, present, current events, future, things that will be, and general is unspecified or timeless. Then there are three aspects. Perfect, meaning that the action has been completed. Progressive, the action is ongoing. Or general, non-specified. So I was working would be past progressive. He had done it would be past perfect. He will have done it would be perfect future, and so on. Then there's mood. Something can be conditional, meaning that it might be the case I would do it, possible, I could do it, ideal, I should do it, necessary, I must do it. And then, as you can see, the combinations of both. So conditional possible would be, it would be possible if. Then possible ideal would be that it could possibly be what I should do. Then possible, you could have ideal necessary. Ideally, it should be necessary. So I should need to do it. So then when we get to object pronouns, these are attached at the end of verbs. What we were shown earlier attach at the beginning of verbs. So you have first, second, third, and fourth person, and then the singular and the plural. We'll get to what makes something plural later. So again, whenever you see brackets, this is used for sound harmony. So if a consonant is in brackets, it means that if the following sound is a vowel, you plug in that consonant. And if the following sound is a consonant, you don't need it. And then vice versa if there is a vowel in the brackets. This is to make the language flow smoothly and not cause unnecessary consonant clusters. All right, so moving on from object pronouns, we have case endings, in which there are 11 cases. This is more than ancient Greek, which has 4, and I believe it is somewhere closer to the amount that Finnish has, but I'm not quite sure. But don't be afraid. These are simply designed to eliminate as many grammatical syntax words as possible. And so it's nothing to be worried about. There's no irregularity in this language. So you have nominative. These are case endings at the end of the word. And again, you can see in the bracket the harmony sound. So, nominative, the subject of a sentence. Accusative, the object of a sentence. Dative, the indirect object of a sentence. Originative, from, the origin of a given thing. Causal, because, since, or for, the reason for a given thing. Genitive, of or apostrophe s, the possessor of a given thing. Vocative, ya, an exclamation or an invocation. Locative, in, at, or on denotes location. Instrumental, oi, by or with, the means of a given action. Comparative, than, contrast against another given thing. And then conditional. This is a built-in if-then statement, built into the word itself, and can attach to other case endings. Then we move on to plurality. Plurality can be added to anything: nouns, verbs, adjectives, articles. The plural marker e will turn into I after a after and oi after o. Otherwise, the harmonizing phoneme, in parentheses, will be implemented. Dual and trial can be used much in a similar manner to English and. This and that would end with a T. This, that, and the other would end in a K. Is the verb to be. It makes the case of its subject its first suffix, and verb endings its final suffix. Then there's articles, in which, if I have counted correctly, there was something around 60 different ways to say the, and 60 different ways to use the indefinite article. This is because you take the 10 relevant cases multiplied by the amount of genders, and then multiply that by 2 because you have plural and singular. And so eventually I intend that in daughter languages, all of the inflection in nouns is going to be lost because it's already denoted with the article. And so if we're denoting the case, gender, and plurality in the article, there's no reason to inflect that in the nouns. And so eventually these will become very nifty, very useful particles of speech in the daughter language forms. And then these are some of the definite articles. The indefinite articles begin in a ha because ha is the root for nothing, whereas the definite articles begin in a psa because psa, as we will come to see, is the root for being. Here's the phonology. You have front, central, and back vowels, high, middle, low, and low. So this is the phonology of the vowels. I, a, u, o. Then moving on to consonants, bilabial sounds. M, the, s, dental sounds, th, the, alveolar sounds, t, d, n, s, r, l, palatal sounds, sh, velar sounds, k, g, ng, ch, w, uvular sounds, r, glottal sounds, h. There are 3 diphthongs, I, oi, ao. And then you can also have on occasion a long ah or a long e. Now we move on to the Gematricon, in which the language is spelt out. The order in which words appear is the order in which they are created. Each of the roots has a numerical value, as you can see in the Gematricon, and thus we see here each word and its numerical value in order. Grammatical particles, verb templates, in templates in general, don't have numerical value. So I'm going to read this and then the translation. Tipseor urav tipseona, psipseor tipseor urav kipseon, pipseo vopsi, tipseo gopsi, kipseon dopsi, kaipsi psipseor, tipseom teopsev kaipsi, tipseonai, fipseos fipseos, sipseos, kipseom keopsev kaipsi, kipseonai, hipseos hupseos vipseos. From being comes consciousness. From being and consciousness comes will. Being the man, will the child, consciousness the mother. Consciousness thought 3 thoughts, goodness, truth, and beauty. Will did 3 actions, love, apathy, and hatred. Moving on to the second verse of the Gematricon. Rupseum reupsev hennai rapsenai, veupse hoab semai kaipsimi, reupseos kipseon arupsop sopsof, rupseum upsof vupsi hos hahayab sim hihium lupse neopseie. Creation created some creations. The 3 had gave to creation power for beautiful creation's sake, creation for the sake of man's consumption, yet lo, the destroying Leviathan ever destroying. The third verse. Neopsehwabsam ropsim rapsam ha ha ya hamgapsim him hanajipsen napsutunak tatana. The unchanging, withered one had grown. Lo, a woman is a heart, an eye, and a snake. The fourth. Huteum iva tarana deltehwast, gutamahim huteona theteos. Greatness is between leasthood. I hope fate isn't mortality. And again, with the roots, as we can see, masculine denoted by T, S denotes juvenile synthesis, A denotes feminine antithesis, and final number denotes the spiration or the origin that a root has from another root. And so, seemingly arbitrary, at times, it's as a general rule that each of these branch out into a new root with a trinity within them. So, for example, haha denotes nothingness.
Well, how early are you going to go to the gym? 1? You said you were early.
The numerical value of nothing, haha, is 0. And for examples, I'm going to be giving uninflected, caseless, feminine nouns. The numerical value of nothingness, haha, is 0. The numerical value of being is sapsa, 1. The numerical value of the unknown, saha, a mixture of nothing and being, is in between 0 and 1. It is 0.5. So our first concepts are being, intellect, and will. So sipseon, tipseon, kipseon. From being comes masculine, feminine, masculine, juvenile, and feminine, 4, 5, and 6. From intellect comes 3 intellectual truths, goodness, truth, and beauty, 7, 8, 9. From will comes 3 actions, love, apathy, and hatred, and so on and so forth. This isn't a full-out table. It's not been filled out, but this is the general outline of what shall come. So as we go down the chain of being, we eventually get to roots that are more noun-oriented than abstract concepts. Mostly natural forms, such as gorgons, or scales, feathers, wings, bronze, copper, clouds, rain, that sort of thing. Anywho, hope you have enjoyed, and remember, these videos aren't designed to be professional at all. In fact, it's just my rambling. It's a way of keeping notes without having to write it down, as I think I can speak faster than I can write. Anywho, letters and numerals. This is an unfinished system, and it's really hard because I want to get the symbols to be one angle per the numerical value, and then translate the glyphs that I get from that into into glyphs that I can put into a computer via Unicode. And so this has been a challenge. But that's going to conclude this video for the day, I think.